We've been looking at the story of Hannah from 1 Samuel chapter 1. We saw that Hannah was married to a man named Elkanah, but she wasn't his only wife. He had another wife named Peninnah. Peninnah was able to have children and Hannah wasn't. And Peninnah used that as a weapon against Hannah. And Elkanah contributed to this issue by showing clear favoritism to Hannah, which then made Peninnah feel worse, which then made her be even more cruel to Hannah. And so as we come to verse 7 of chapter 1 of 1 Samuel, it says this: "It happened year after year, as often as she went up to the house of the Lord, she would provoke her," that is, Peninnah would provoke Hannah, "so she wept and would not eat. Then Elkanah, her husband, said to her, 'Hannah, why do you weep, and why do you not eat, and why is your heart sad? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?'" I've always thought that putting that verse in this passage was maybe a way of adding a little bit of levity to the situation. Because here is poor Elkanah. He does not know what to do to console his wife. And so he says something that probably should have been better left unsaid. Basically, he was saying, "Aren't I enough? Isn't having me as your husband so wonderful that you don't need children?" And you can imagine, just being a human being, what Hannah's reaction to that might have been. Although the scripture doesn't actually tell us her reaction. But I think that those words of Elkanah are a good reminder to us that sometimes it's not that our speech is intentionally cruel like Peninnah. It is that our speech is unintentionally insensitive. Elkanah's words to Hannah during this time when she was grieving deeply her lack of ability to have a child wasn't mean. It just was terribly inappropriate to say at that time. His focus from her grief to him, to "aren't I enough for you," didn't allow her to experience the true emotion that she was experiencing. When we are around people who are grieving, it's often our natural inclination to try to say something, anything, that will be helpful. And most of the times when we're grasping for those things that might be helpful, we would be better off just to be quiet, just to sit with someone in their grief, just to say, "I'm sorry," just to listen to their feelings. Elkanah was trying to make his wife feel better. I don't think he succeeded in that. But I think it's also a good reminder that no person is ever enough for us. We were not created to be completely fulfilled by another human being. And even if Hannah, and as she does, has a child, that child is not the one who will completely fulfill her. We're not made to be fulfilled by spouses or friends or children or parents. We're made to be fulfilled by the God who created us. So today, 2 things I would ask us to do. 1, let's examine our words. Let's see if there are times when we aren't being intentionally unkind, but when we are being insensitive, which is resulting in unkindness. And then 2, let's think about what are we trying to fill ourselves with, or to try to convince one another that we should be happy with. "Oh, you're married, you've got enough. Oh, you have children, you've got enough. Oh, you have the freedom of singleness, you've got enough. Oh, you have plenty of friends, you've got enough." And instead, let's look at ourselves and let's encourage one another to find our complete fulfillment and satisfaction in the God who created us, the God who loves us, and the God who wants to walk in relationship with us through whatever we're going through.